So I helped my swimwear brand client increase their organic revenue by over $23,000 per month. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. I'm Tyler Nelbach, the founder of SEO Align. I've helped dozens of fashion brands improve their organic traffic and revenue through organic search. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how I help this client improve their organic revenue by $23,000 per month. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is identifying the right keywords to target. So there are a bunch of things you can look at to make sure you're targeting the right keywords. The three things I want to talk about are looking at the products that you have to understand what kind of keywords would make sense to go after. Second is understanding what keywords you're currently showing up somewhere for. And then the third one is just knowing as a brand what keywords are actually going to move the needle for your company. And so that might be knowing what products sell really well or what products have the highest profit margin. Really, you want to make sure in this keyword selection process and prioritization, you want to make sure that you're going after keywords that are truly going to move the needle and are going to bring in more revenue for your company. And by the way, this Swim brand, this is not my client. I'm just using an example swimwear brand here just to not reveal my client's information. So all of the stuff I'm showing you is going to be with this site, but again, this is not my client's site. One thing you can do is just look at what types of products they offer. So this is a swimwear brand, and so when you look at the different types of swimsuits, you can see they offer one pieces, they offer bikinis, they have buy coverage. So they have a lot of different collection pages set up, which is actually a really good thing. And you can see they even go more in depth. So they have not just one pieces, they have square neck one pieces, V-neck one pieces, or bikinis, they have triangle bikinis, square neck. And I love that they have buy coverage too. So you can get a lot of keyword ideas just from looking at what types of products you offer. Because just looking at this, I can see a keyword that would be good to target is one-piece swimsuits, bikinis. We have one-piece square neck swimsuits or square neck one-piece swimsuits. Really every different type of category we have is a new keyword opportunity for us. And chances are we're going to find more opportunities outside of just the ones that we have on the site, potentially collection pages we don't even have yet. So this was the first thing with my client that we did was we looked at, okay, what are the really important products on their site? And then we also looked at, okay, what position are they in Google right now? What do we want to prioritize? What can we do that's going to move the needle and make them money the quickest? This is super important because there's a really big difference in identifying just a bunch of SEO actions you can take and then actually understanding what SEO actions are going to move the needle for you. So super important here. One thing I want to show you is a tool called SEMrush. So this is just an SEO tool where you can view all the keywords that you're ranking for. What I would recommend doing is exporting this entire list and then export also your Google Search Console data because this SEMrush is a really good tool to show you the keywords that you're ranking for. And it gives you search volume, all that kind of stuff. A lot of this is estimate. So your current position in Google, they're really good at tracking that. But the search volume and how much traffic you're actually bringing in, these are estimates. This is not real data. Where the Google Search Console, that's going to give you real data. And so anytime you can use the Google Search Console data, I would definitely recommend that. Just because you're going to get more true data and it's a lot easier to work with versus just looking at estimates. So what I would recommend doing though is I would recommend exporting your keyword list from SEMrush and then exporting your keyword list from the Google Search Console. Then what you can do is you can put it together to really look for some of your biggest opportunities. Okay, so I exported their list from SEMrush and I just put it in a Google Sheet here, just a little bit easier to view. And so really what you can do here is you have all of this information to look at. And really the first step I like to take is just figure out all of the keywords that are actually relevant to what you offer. And so for this step, I always want to look at everything outside of branded searches because you can see there's a lot of people searching for Swim. This is the brand here. And so with my client, what I did for them is I took out, filtered out this entire list. So we took out all of their brand name searches and we really just identified, okay, what are the keywords that are actually relevant for them to show up in? So that's really the first step. You want a good pool of your most relevant keywords to go after. Because once you have that, then you can drill down and prioritize what keywords you should actually be going after in the first place. So one thing I like to do is to just, highlight a keyword or do something to indicate that a keyword is relevant. And then when you go through the entire list, it's going to take you a little bit of time because there's a lot of keywords to go through. But go through your entire SEMrush list and then go through your entire Search Console list. And then you're going to have a pretty good list of keywords. And then it's just a matter of prioritizing the right keywords. And when you prioritize keywords, you want to be looking at your current position. So it's really important to look at, because if you're in position, for example, let's see if we have any down here. For example, if you're in position 34, it's going to be a lot harder to take a keyword in position 34 and bring it up to a meaningful position than it is to take like a keyword in position 5 and to bring that up to number 1. So that's a really important thing to look at, is look at your position. Also want to look at search volume. So like I said, SEMrush is all estimates, but the Search Console gives you real data on this, so you can see real impressions. So I would rely a little bit more on Search Console because it's giving you that true data. But so this is monthly search volume, and so you want to make sure that you're targeting keywords that actually get searched. Another thing is keyword difficulty. I don't rely a ton on keyword difficulty just because we can tell a lot about how hard it is to rank a keyword based on the position that we're in. So if we're in position 30, I don't care if a keyword difficulty is really low because we're not doing well as is. And so I already kind of know that keyword difficulty based on how we're doing. Cost per click is good. If people are spending a lot of money on Google Ads, it's usually a good indication that that keyword converts really well. So another thing to pay attention to there. So really kind of that next step is you identify all of the keywords that are relevant, and then you look at this data to really figure out and also use your own internal data too of like what keywords, what types of products make you the most money. And look at those keywords along with this data to really solidify just a few keywords that you want to go after. So it's really important that you only have your focus on a few different areas, because if you're trying to do SEO across the board, you're not going to make any progress. You don't have enough targeted focus in a specific area that you're just not going to see progress. You're probably going to get frustrated and give up. So you want to make sure you have a targeted focus before you move on to a next set. And so like I said, I recommend doing whatever products are going to make you the most money. Focus on those products first. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is your category page structure. So this is really, really important that you have this set up right, because if you don't, you can really limit your opportunities and potentially just not even give yourself a chance to rank, which is what I want to show you at this site. This is very similar to the problem that my client was having, in that they didn't have their category pages set up in a way that even allowed them to show up in Google. So I'm going to come over here, and if we take a look, I'm just going to hop over to all one pieces. And you can see this site is built on Shopify. You can tell by the URL structure. And really what's happening is they have some sort of sorting and filtering on this page where this isn't even its own collection page. So I can see by the title tag, it says shop all swimsuits, but really we clicked on the one-piece swimsuit option in the dropdown. And you can see what's happening is it's adding a filter for one piece. So really this is the all swimsuits collection page with a filter on top of it. There are workarounds, there are ways that you can make this work, but in almost all cases, if you set it up like this with a filter, especially if you're using Shopify, you are not giving yourself a chance to rank for the keyword you're trying to rank for. So in this case, it would make a lot of sense to rank for the keyword one-piece swimsuits. The problem is, I can just open up my detailed extension here. This URL is actually canonicalized to this all collection. And basically what that means is we don't even have a chance to rank this page. We're essentially telling Google that they shouldn't pay attention to this page and they should only pay attention to this all collection page. That's a really big problem, because if I go back and look at some of these other pages, like I'll look at all bikinis, for example, this is the same exact thing. And go back to the detailed Chrome extension, it's canonicalized to this all page. So pretty much every single collection page that they have where they're drilling down deeper is a filtered page where they don't have any chance of ranking. And this was very, very similar to the way my client had it set up, and it puts you in a really tough position. So really what you want to do is you want to take all these filters that you're applying and you just want to make it have its own collection page. So you want to have a collection page for bikinis. You want to have a collection page for one-piece swimsuits. You want to drill down and have a collection page for square neck one-piece swimsuits, V-neck one-piece swimsuits. The key is that you have a dedicated page for all of these different keywords that you're trying to go after, because you don't have any chance ranking for these keywords with these filters. And you can see, really interesting when you look at the keywords, this is a brand that's ranking number 14 for swimsuits. So they have some serious authority. They have opportunity in the SEO space if they're that high for such a broad keyword that gets searched so much. But you can see that's with their homepage. And if you just really look, they are not ranking for keywords outside of their homepage and outside of this all collection page. And that's because they're all canonicalized. So that's a really big missed opportunity that if I was working with this brand specifically, I would want to clean up, because this was a very similar setup to what my client had. And what we did was we just set up a dedicated page for all of the keywords that we wanted to target. And once Google picked those up, that made a really big difference for my client. So that was a really big piece of this, and I wanted to mention it because so many brands have some sort of setup like this where they're using filtering when they should actually be having dedicated pages, because that's how you're actually signaling to Google that, hey, we should rank for one-piece swimsuits. We should also rank for bikinis. We should rank for these more specific keywords. Where if you have a setup like this where it's all canonicalized to one page, Google's just going to look at that one page and that's it. So it's really, really important that you take care of this, because this can impact your SEO in a really negative way. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is internal linking. So this was another thing that I implemented for my client that made a really big difference for them. And it was really because my client has a lot of authority. They have a lot of backlinks, a lot of really good links going to the site, but they didn't have any sort of internal linking strategy whatsoever. And so it really is just kind of a missed opportunity. You have authority, you have existing authority that you can really tap into to help all of your pages rank really well. And so that's another area where it's really important that we have our category pages in place and set up how they're supposed to be. Because once you have that, you can use the category pages to internally link to each other and really just help authority pass through to your most important pages. So a way I like to do this is I like to look at the top pages that we're really focusing on. I mean, it might be like 3 pages that we really want to get ranked. And then what I do is I'll come to SEMrush and I'll take a look at the backlinks that we currently have. And I'll go to the index page section, and this is showing us all the backlinks and what pages they're actually going to. And this helps me because I know what pages on the site have a lot of authority. And then what you can do is you can build internal links from the pages that have authority and pass that authority through to your other collection pages. So I know just by looking at this, we have this all collection page that we talked about before. This collection page itself has 28 different domains linking to it, which is really good. So then what we know is we could take this if we had the collection pages set up. They don't yet. This brand, this U Swim brand, does not have these collection pages set up yet. But when you set them up, you can actually take this all collection page. Let me get back to all swimsuits. And then you can internally link to these different category pages you're trying to get ranked. And then what happens is authority passes through. We have 28 backlinks pointing to this particular page. It'll pass through to the pages that we're internally linking to. So that's a really important step. You can go absolutely crazy with this when you have all of your categories set up. Really just making sure that you're internally linking to different category pages that make sense, where you're kind of helping that user navigate to the pages that would make sense that they're interested in. Really the way you do that is just add a little bit of text content. So you could do that right at the bottom of the products. Just add a few paragraphs of text, and then you can kind of just internally link to the products, to the other collection pages that are relevant to the collection that you're on. So like I said, I like to look at the pages that have backlinks already. It could be other collection pages, it could be products. Really just finding those pages that already have a lot of authority and trying to figure out how can we pass authority through to our most important pages. So I would aim for at least 5 to 10 internal links from strong pages on your site for the pages that you're really focusing on, because that's a really good starting point. And you can see where that leaves you, because if you're still kind of lagging behind and you're not doing super well in the search results, go harder in the internal linking, because that's just tapping into existing authority. It's something you have full control over, and would definitely recommend hitting that, because that had such a big difference for my client when we really went hard on the internal linking front. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is digital PR and link building. So this was another big thing that I focused on with my client, was really looking for new ways to build authority. So we talked about tapping into our existing authority, but then we were looking at how can we actually build more authority? How can we drive more backlinks to our site to just make it more powerful? So you can see, just looking at this Swim brand, they have a lot of really good links. They have Glamour Magazine. They scroll down, they have maryclaire.com, New York Mag. They've got a lot of good stuff, who, what, where, a lot of really relevant backlinks pointing to their site. And that's really good when you can have just big name publications in the fashion space linking to you. That carries a lot of weight for Google. So really big piece there. A couple of the ways that we did this is we use different platforms like Quoted, where journalists are actually looking for experts to quote, and we help them get featured in some of the articles that those journalists were writing. So that was a really big piece that we did. We also reached out to fashion publications. We found journalists and reached out to them to see how we could be included in some of the articles that they were writing, whether it's, best swimsuits, best one-piece swimsuits, those types of articles. And that had a really big impact for us too. We could see we built a lot of the links to the homepage, but we also were able to drive a few links to different category pages. And we could see when we did that, our category pages actually started to rank a lot better after having more authority to them. So that's a really big step. You want to make sure you have kind of a balanced approach there, because with digital PR, most of your links are going to go to the homepage, which is great, because building links to the homepage just helps your overall authority, and that really helps all of your pages rank well. But sometimes when you need a little extra power, getting linked directly to the category page you're trying to get ranked can do a lot. So this is a really big factor, and I would recommend any brand that's doing SEO, you definitely should be implementing some sort of digital PR and link building strategy, because authority is one of the most important ranking factors when it comes to Google. So these were the 4 biggest things that I implemented for my client to help them bring in an additional $23,000 per month from organic search. So if you follow these steps, you're going to give yourself a really good chance to bring in a lot more traffic and revenue for your brand. If you want to improve your organic traffic and revenue for your fashion brand, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description where you can book a time to meet with me. I also put together a free fashion SEO checklist to help you rank for your most important keywords and improve your traffic and revenue. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description where you can grab that. And if you got value out of this, please like this video and subscribe for more fashion SEO videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.